Okay, hello again. You're right, everyone. So we're going to move on today. We're going to do a bit of reasoning with what we've learnt this week. If I can find where I've put it. There we go. So let's start today with a quick warm-up. What I'd like to do, please, is pause the video, have a go at solving these questions, and I'll give you a moment. Okay, I'm going to carry on. If you don't want to carry on, please keep the video paused and make sure you've solved the best you can. If you found one tricky, skip it, move on, and try and do as many as you can. Right then, if you're ready, let's move on and look at the answers. So here they are today. 60 times 80, it's the same as 6 times 8 times 10, isn't it? So it's 640. This is the kind of question we are doing mentally now, which is really good, I hope. Then we've got a written one, which is 6,218 times 3, which equals 18,654. Then we have 84 times 3, and they're saying mental here. If you can do 80 times 3, you can do 4 times 3 and add them together. The challenge there is keeping all those numbers in your head. Our next written method one is 981 times, add 34,894, which today is 35,875. And then a mental one, which is times by 100, so no written methods needed at all. 183 times 100 is 18,300 because we move all the digits 2 places to the left. If you're ready, let's move on to our next warm-up, which is our flashback 4. What I want you to do, please, is pause the video. Take 4 minutes. Can you answer these 4 questions? Best you can. Good luck. If you're ready to carry on, I am ready to carry on as well. Keep the video paused. If you're not ready to see the answers, I'm going to show you the answers now. Here are our answers. 24 times 13 is 312. A bus carries 46 passengers. There are 3 full buses. How many passengers in total? This is a lot like a question we did yesterday, isn't it? It is 46 times 3, which means 138. What is 150 divided by 3? Well, you might notice that looks a lot like 15 divided by 3, doesn't it? And the answer is 50 instead of 5 this time. And what is 1,500 divided by 3? Well, you might notice that looks a lot like 15 divided by 3. And the answer isn't 5 this time, it's 500. We're really looking at place value now, aren't we? And our secret clock up here, what was our time? Well, the time was 12, and I would say 42, 12:42 even. You might say as well, 42 minutes past 12 minutes, past 12, but that would be a bit more unusual than 12:42. Right then, let's move on to our first questions today. If you're working from home, what I'd like you to do is write these questions in order from the trickiest on the left to the tricky ones to the trickiest on the right. So that means from the easy ones to the hard ones. Which do you think? I do not want you solving them though. I want you looking at them and just imagining which ones do you think are the most difficult ones? Which ones don't you want to see in a test? And then sort them. Pause the video, have a go at doing that, and then I'll show you what I think the order would be. Okay, let's move on then. So I think these ones are all kinds of different ways. Straight away, I think 10 times 72, I can see that straight away. Yeah, I could do that, 720, right? Next ones, I'm looking at, I think I can see a double here, 360 times 2. I think I can do doubling in my head a bit better now. Now, the next 3 are a bit trickier, but let's have a look at them. Well, for me, I'd probably say this one. Now, it's got 3 numbers in it, but they're all looking small, so I can do that one. And then, yeah, that's got a 20, so I can probably do 20 better than I could do 18 and 40. So that's the order I would put them on. I'm just going to squeeze that one at the end. Now, that's just my opinion. You might have a completely different opinion than me, and that's fantastic. But let's have a look at what these questions mean. Now, on here, I want you to try and solve every single question that we've got. So 10 times 72, 20 times 36, 36 times 10 times 2, 18 times 40, and 360 times 2. Have a go at solving all of them, and then we'll explore it together. Okay, pause the video and have a go. All right, if you've unpaused the video, I'm ready to move on. If you're not ready to see some answers for this section, keep the video paused and come back to it in a moment. Let's start with A. Now that's easy. I can do that one without any written method. It's 720. 10 times 72. Moving them one place to the left is 720. Next, let's look at my next easy ones I said about. 360 times 2, right at the bottom there with E. Well, 60 times 2 is 120. 300 times 2 is 600. So the answer is 720 as well. They've both got the same answer, even though they're different questions. I wonder if there's one more that's like that. Let's do 20 times 36. I'm going to have to write this one down, I think, just to make sure I'm getting it right. 20 times 36. Well, first of all, 0 times 36 is 0, isn't it? So that's not hard. So I'm going to go straight to the 20s. 2 times 6 I'm going to do is 12. So the answer must be 120. So like the 1 there, 2 there, and 0 there. Next, I've got to do 30 times 20. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. So the answer is going to be times by 100. So it's going to be 600. Add the 1 there. It's going to make it 720. Hey, we've got the same answer again. We are having... Oh, wrong one there. We are doing really well here. Let's have a look. Is 18 times 40 the same? I'm beginning to see a pattern here. I'm beginning to think maybe it is. 18 times 40. Let's see. Well, 8 times 0, nothing. 8 times 4 I'm going to do and times it by 10. Well, 8 times 4 is 8, 16, 32, isn't it? So it's going to be 320. Oh, let me use my carrying skills. Oh, no, let's do that. Let's do 320. Then let's do 10 times 0, which is 0. And then 10 times 40, which is 400. And let's add them together. So we get 0 and 20, and then 720 again. So they are all turning out to be the same so far. And let's look at this last one. I'm going to rub out a part of my board to give me space to work on. And I'm going to do 36 times 10. Well, that's 360, isn't it? And then if I times that by 2, well, I've already done that, haven't I? It's 720 again, because I did it with question E. So all these questions, even though we think some of them are trickier than others, have the same answer. What does this mean for us when we're doing our work then? Well, it means that sometimes we can make a question easier just by altering some of the numbers. Here we've got the question 20 times 36. And here I've got some other ways of solving it. I've got 10 times 72 is the same as 20 times 36. I've got 18 times 40 is the same as 20 times 36. I've got 36 times 10 times 2. And then I've got 360 times 2. All of these are the same, have the same answer. But which ones do you think are easiest to solve? I think probably 10 times 72 is the easiest there for me, but you might have a different opinion. Let's move on and see if we can start using this then. Is it the same? What I'd like to do here is I have put 4 questions around the outside of 18 times 50, but not all of them are the same. Can you work out by pausing the video which ones are the same and which ones aren't? Okay, pause the video, and when you're ready, we'll move on. Okay, if you're ready, I'm ready. So let's move on. If you'd like to pause it to work out a bit longer, you repause the video before we carry on. So let's have a look. Let's try and do some mental math to solve each one of these. So first of all, 100 times 9. Well, 100 times 9 equals 900, doesn't it? That's a nice quick one. Let's move on to 50 times 10 times 8. Well, 50 times 10 is 500, isn't it? 500 times 8. Well, if I do 5 times 8, let's make sure my equal sign is correct. So 50 times 10 is 500, and then I've got to do that, times that by 8. So if I do 5 times 8 is 40, the answer is going to be 4,000. So these are very different numbers. Somehow we've got 900 and somehow we've got 4,000. Let's have a look what the other ones could be. 18 times 5 times 10. Well, 18 times 5, if I know 10 times 5 is 50, I know 8 times 5 is 40, so 50 add 40 is 90, 90 times 10 is 900. Hey, we're going to spot some of these equations are the same. And let's do 20 times 48. So 10 times 48 is 480. If I times that by 2, it'll be the same as 20 times 48, won't it? So 480 times 2, or 80 times 2 is 160. 400 times 8 is 800. So now I've got 960. So I can see that 2 of these are the same and 2 of them aren't. But which ones match? 18 times 50. Well, let's do a bit of maths at the top here. Let's do 18 times 50 and let's work it out. If you haven't worked this out yet, pause the video, have a go, see if you can beat me at doing the column method or the grid method to solve 18 times 50. But I'm going to move on. If you don't want to see the answer, you pause the video. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 50, I'm going to do 8 times 5 is 40. So the answer is going to be 400, isn't it? Then I've got to do 10 times 0 is 0. 10 times 50 is 500. Add them together and I get the answer 900. So from these ones, I hope you spotted that 100 times 9, 18 times 5 times 10, and 18 times 50 are all going to get you the same answer. But which one's the easiest one to solve? Well, I think it's 100 times 9, because that is just my 100 times table. So we could have turned 18 times 50 into 100 times 9 to make it easier. What I'd like you to do now, or what I'd like you to do now even, is to have a go at trying to make a 16 times 60 into an easier question for you. What would make this better and quickly help you to solve it quicker than doing a written method for this one, 16 times 60? Pause the video, have a go at solving these, come up with 2, 3, or 4 different equations, and then we'll talk about what you've created. Okay, if you've unpaused the video, I'm ready to move on and share my ideas with you, see if you've matched any of mine. 16 times 60. Well, straight away, I know 60 is a multiple of 10. So what I could do is 16 times 6 and then times 10. If you know your 6 times table, if you know your 10 times table, you could do 6 times that. So you could do 16 times 10 times 6, couldn't you? And that would get you the same answer. We could also look at halving these numbers. So if we half one, we have to double the other to even out the equation. So I could do 8 times, because I've halved 16 and I have to double 60, 8 times 120. And I like timesing hundreds, they're easy, aren't they? We could do it the other way around then, couldn't we? We could do 32 times 30. Now that's a bit easier because it's got rid of the zeros at the end. It's made it a smaller number there, hasn't it? That big 60 can scare some people off. Which one of these do you think is the easiest one to solve? Or are you finding the middle one the easiest? But we've got all these options just by noticing some patterns with our numbers. Okay, let's move on. Today, we're looking at you to create your own equations that are the same as the ones in the middle. If you are in yellow group today, you have some slightly bigger numbers. We have 82 times 26, which looks a lot like the red group if you notice. But then we have a 3-digit times 2-digit number. Remember, we're looking for both groups to be doubling, to be halving, to be finding which times tables they're in, to be noticing all these facts to find out if they are the same, to find out if we can make them easier to get the same number. At the bottom of these sheets, you'll see I have got rid of any arrows and it is your job to create your own ones. On the website, I have given you 8 different equations. I'd like you to match them to the ones on the sheet. Make sure you get the correct ones, otherwise it won't work. If you're in green group and you've done this, what I'd like you to do is create a mini poster to explain what you've done. I'd love you to share it on Teams so other people can see what you've done and share ideas about how these equations could be made easier. Make it colourful, make it bright, make it clear, make it something people want to look at and keep revising from. Okay, pause the video, go find these sheets and then come back to us for the plenary. Okay, if you're back with us, we're going to move on to a plenary. I hope you had a good time doing that sheet, something a bit different and lots of creative maths there. Let's have a look at this all together. We have here, I know, so I know. If we have here 24 times 18 equals 432, just a known number fact they've given us. Can we work out these other 2 facts from this? Using 24 times 18, can you find 25 times 18? And then can you find 25 times 17 from that? Pause the video now, see if you can work it out without my help. What do you notice? What could you do? If you've unpaused the video, we're going to talk about our ideas now and discover what we know, so you also know. 24 times 18 is 432. 25 times 18 is just one more group of 18. So if I add 18 to 432, I should find 25 times 18. Well, 2 add 8 makes a 10, carry the 1 over. 1 and 3 are 4, 5, and we've got 450. So because we know 24 times 18, we now know 25 times 18. Can we work out then 25 times 17? Well, if we know that 25 times 18 is 450, then 17 times 25 is one group less of 25. It becomes a subtraction question. And now we know if we take away 25 from a 50, the answer is got a 25 in it, and then that 400 stays the same. So we have found out that 25 times 17 is 425. I wonder on your sheet if you did the same as that. Could you match these equations to help you find another known number fact? That's it from me today. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll be talking about division. So a whole new topic tomorrow, but using lots of our multiplication facts that we've learned over the last few weeks. Have a good day and we'll see you soon.